Do you think that the American people are ready for, if all, whatever it is, 20 million undocumented immigrants are deported, do you think the American people are ready for not only the tremendous disruption in the workforce and the economy, I think it's like 5% of the workforce is undocumented, but also the fact that we're going to be seeing images of families separated, people taken out of the communities they've lived in for years? Do you think the American people are fully prepared for that?
I'm not sure that's what's going to happen, Jake. I think what the president's talking about is beginning with the dangerous persons that we know are here. There are criminals, known criminals. There are known terrorists in the country. There are some who have been apprehended for committing violent crimes after they come across the border illegally. So you start with that number. You got, by some counts, as many as 3 or 4 million people that fit that category. Begin there and then see how it transpires. This will take a lot of thoughtful work and deliberation, and I think the president is of exactly the right mind. And look, the American people want us to restore order in immigration. For 4 years, we've had a wide open border. The Biden administration did that intentionally. It's the reason that we had to take the extreme measure of impeaching Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of DHS. And it's the reason, I think, one of the primary reasons that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden himself, when he was running, had no chance of being reelected. Because everywhere I went around the country, Jake, and I went to over 360 campaign events in 260 cities in 40 states over the last year, the number one issue everywhere I went was cost of living and border. They went back and forth. And that was what's on the hearts and minds of the American people, and that's why President Trump is committed to deliver on.
Oh boy, fake news, the enemy of the people. They're trying to save their ass right now as ratings tank, fall to the ground, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. On the floor, on the floor, on the floor. Somebody tell Tapper, we're not just ready, but we voted to make it happen. We have spoke loud and clearly, sir. Landslide. And people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're sick and tired of you, Jake, and CNN, fake news, MSNBC, all of y'all. Yeah. And we see now a lot of them trying to save their butt now. They backtracking. Yeah. I couldn't wait to get into this video, man. That fella got a brutal reality check, man. And I remember our last video we did with Mike Johnson and Tapper. And he called him a fag live on air. Y'all remember that video? We did the whole interview on CNN. Yeah, the enemy of the people, man. The enemy of the people. But man, let me see what they talking about in the comment section. This is the same network that, that propped up a comatose president for three and a half years. Yeah, same network. Yep. They've done a lot of things. Again, you see why nobody trusts the media. They don't trust them no more. They did a poll. 90% don't trust the fake mainstream media. They don't trust the news anymore. They just don't. They said the hell with CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, the whole alphabetic order. I wonder why. You know? But it's coming to an end for them, I believe. CNN, MSNBC, all of them, man. You know, ratings are down 60%. I mean, it's just not looking good for either one of the fake news, man. You know, people are going elsewhere. They have lost all credibility. I wonder why. You know, and on November 5th was a huge statement for a lot of people, man. It meant a lot for a lot of people because we said, y'all, with y'all, and y'all, you too, Hollywood, you too, everybody. How relevant are y'all now? These next 4 years are gonna be something to see, y'all. I'll tell you that now, and I can't wait to report on it. These next 4 years. And you see tons of them now they're trying to backtrack. They're trying to get along. They're trying to understand. They're trying to, swallow their pride. But there's still, meltdowns. People just losing it. They don't know what to expect next. They go out when they get off air. They're crying and whining and hollering. But we're back, baby. We're so back. And I'm here for it. Shout out to them beautiful patriots around the world. Let's go and jump in. I know I've talked up a whole storm. Some of y'all love to hear me talk. Some of y'all don't. They say, Rick, just get into it. Shut up. You know, but I couldn't wait to check this out from my brother, man. And this is a brutal reality check for Brother Tapper once again in CNN. And yeah. Y'all might want to start getting your act together and packing your bags, because they're going to bake them patriots a pie. And you better not forget the ice cream. Because we know Joe then dropped it on the floor. On the floor! On the floor, Joe. On the floor. But now we got a new batch of ice cream in there now, baby. And it's nice and cold. It's nice and delicious now, Joe. Woo!
Quo. These individuals will help deliver that, and I think the vast majority of the American people understand that. I'm really excited about the days ahead, but we need everybody in this country to follow our laws. I don't think that's asking for much, and I think that's what the people want us to get back to.
Do you think the American people are fully prepared for that?
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has been making waves recently. One is he appeared at UFC 309 with Trump and his entire entourage. This has obviously Democrats melting down and claiming some weird conspiracy theories about it, but I'll show you that later in this video. But Johnson goes on to CNN this morning, and let's just say he gave CNN Jake Tapper a brutal reality check. Let's start here.
So just to take a step back, because you and I have known each other for a long time. You're a man of faith, you're a man of God, you're a man of family. With some of these nominees, Gates, Hegseth, RFK Jr., I wonder, does it matter anymore for Republicans to think of leaders as people who are moral in their personal lives? Is that still important to the Republican Party?
Sure, it's an important issue for anyone in leadership. This is what I'll say about the nominees that the president has put forward, is that they are persons who will shake up the status quo. And I think what the American people have believe and what they've delivered with the mandate in this election is a demand that we shake up the status quo. It's not working for the American people. So use the term in the opening about how these are disruptors. They are. I think that's by design. Any president has the right to name their own cabinet, to nominate persons that they think will fulfill their agenda. And the people that are on this list will do that. They will go into the agencies that they're being asked to lead, and they will reform them. These agencies need reform. And I think the vast majority of the American people understand that. You can't have status quo appointments in a moment like this. I'm really excited about the days ahead. I think the America First policies will deliver for the American people. I think we're going to have a warm embrace of all the new folks who came into the Republican Party in this election cycle, the demographic shifts that we saw that were historic, because we have a chance now to demonstrate for them that our policies, our conservative constitutional policies, common sense policies are best for them as individuals and families and communities and states and the nation as a whole. So exciting days ahead. It is a new day in America. These individuals will help deliver that, and I think the Senate needs to do its job and get them appointed so that the President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance can begin that administration and run with it on day one.
Okay, so let's be honest about Speaker Mike Johnson, okay? Because he's got some problems as well, all right?
Yeah.
Right now, the problem with him is he sold out when it came to allowing the government to continue its, I would say unconstitutional surveillance of American citizens, right? The whole FISA thing. He supported that. And he hasn't answered it. He hasn't explained why, which I believe he should, but that's my own personal beef with him. And there's a lot of people, conservatives, libertarians alike, even people in MAGA, that don't like that about him. He sold out.
Yeah, we see that tons in our comments. We've seen it a couple times in our previous Mike Johnson videos. Yeah.
Just like he sold out on requiring voter ID to be passed at the federal level. The good side of this, though, is what he is saying is dead on, okay? The American people, they're fed up, all right? No more establishment, no more status quo, no more of the party elites deciding who's going to be in charge of these agencies. So Jake Tapper lost that argument, and so now he's going to go to the whole mass deportation hoax, because that's what I'm going to call it, because clearly the media is reporting it in a way that is fake. Here is, once again, Mike Johnson giving him a reality check on it.
Do you think that the American people are ready for, if all, whatever it is, 20 million undocumented immigrants are deported, do you think the American people are ready for not only the tremendous disruption in the workforce and the economy? I think it's like 5% of the workforce is undocumented, but also the fact that we're going to be seeing images of families separated, people taken out of the communities they've lived in for years. Do you think the American people are fully prepared for that?
I'm not sure that's what's going to happen, Jake. I think what the president's talking about is beginning with the dangerous persons that we know are here. There are criminals, known criminals. There are known terrorists in the country. There are some who have been apprehended for committing violent crimes after they've come across the border illegally. So you start with that number. You got, by some counts, as many as 3 or 4 million people that fit that category. Begin there and then see how it transpires. This will take a lot of thoughtful work and deliberation, and I think the president is of exactly the right mind. And look, the American people want us to restore order in immigration. For 4 years, we've had a wide open border. The Biden administration did that intentionally. It's the reason that we had to take the extreme measure of impeaching Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of DHS. And it's the reason, I think, one of the primary reasons that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden himself, when he was running, had no chance of being reelected.
Yeah, but what about separating kids from their families, Speaker? What about this and what about that? It's a bunch of whataboutism, and you're getting away from what the American people want, which is why your guys' ratings are in the tank, by the way. We know that. But the matter at hand is very clear. We want people to obviously cross the border in a legal way. I don't believe that the Trump administration is going to deport every single person who crossed the border over the past 3 years. I think it's going to be operated based on a priority list. Priority number 1 are the criminals, the rapists, the child traffickers, anybody who already broke the law or is a known criminal to have broken the law in another country. They got to go first. Secondly, the next people who need to go are people who clearly are here smooching off our resources. They have not done anything.
Smooching.
They have not established themselves here. They don't show a sign of trying to contribute to our society. They need to go as well. And then number 3, people should be given the opportunity to.
What Tom say? Tom say, pack your bags. Tom say, get ready, pack your bags. And I want my tax. I want my money back. I want my. I want all, man. We got to just set the IRS on fire. I mean, just all the taxes. I mean, not just income tax. I mean, everything that got tax in it. Just set it on fire. I want my tax, and we need to give all them back to them patriots, back to them hardworking American citizens, baby. Sorry, y'all. I got a little emotional right there. I apologize, but I meant that right there, man. You know. Take care of the people, man. We the people. You know. There are millions struggling, dying, homeless. And I'm finna get even mad. I'm finna get even more emotional thinking about them veterans.
To become citizens, either get a work visa. And if they fail to meet a deadline on that, then they got to go. And I think if we go based off those 3 priorities, that's common sense. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so since we're on this topic of immigration, here is Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, responding to the fact that there are governors plotting to deny mass deportation. This speaks to clearly the derangement that the Democratic Party is still operating from, and they're only going to make things worse. Check this out.
You mentioned the resistance that some of these Democrat governors and leaders are having against what you and President-elect Trump are planning to do. How do you fight that? And how do you then kick these people out of the country?
Well, look, I wake up every day and the world's upside down in these sanctuary cities and these left-leaning politicians. They want, all of a sudden, my dad was a cop, my grandfather's a cop, I'm a cop, we're family cops. We're at a situation now where the cops, the ones who want to enforce the law, now we're the bad guys. But the ones who break the law, they're the victims. So if the mayors and governors want to step in the way, look, you can either help or get the hell out of the way because we're going to do this job. The American people give President Trump a mandate. We're going to protect this country. We're going to enforce the immigration laws. And look, I can't believe there's any mayor or governor who wants to push back on us. President Trump has made it clear. We want to concentrate. Our priority on this operation is public safety threats and national security threats. What elected official doesn't want public safety threats and national security threats taken on his community.
All right. Now, if you're getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below. You can shop the merch store or buy us a cup of coffee. Now, clearly, everything that Tom Homan was saying is common sense, right? Is probably the right thing to do because this is what we voted for, of course. But secondly, which speaks to the point of this video, is the Democrats, they're still unhinged. They won't accept that Trump is appointing people who are disruptors because the system, it has gotten out of hand, and now we need to hit the reboot button. And the way to do that is we got to disrupt this pattern of corruption, which is why what Speaker Johnson was saying in the beginning of this video about Trump's cabinet picks is so dead on. But again, these Democrats won't buy it. Check this out.
You heard what Speaker Johnson said about Matt Gaetz. What do you think?
I think he's not only unqualified, he is really disqualified. Are we really going to have an attorney general who there's credible allegations he was involved in child sex trafficking?
And that's what this is what blows me, man. Like I almost said something I wasn't supposed to say. You know. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. I'll be real honest with y'all, man. And I don't know, every time I look at this file, I always think of that comment from Trump, watermelon head. I always think about that watermelon comment, man. I don't know why. Boy, that was funny. But they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And again, and we already knew that it was coming out, you know. As soon as we heard what they asked, they're going again, y'all. They're going to try to wipe everybody through the mud in this Trump cabinet. Everybody. You know, we was watching that thing last night. They were trying to wipe. They keep trying to just wipe RFK, but again, it doesn't fit. Whew. Unbelievable, man. Let me stop talking. Because again, what I really want to say, YouTube would just take my video down. So, or I'll get in trouble, or my video will get censored. So,
Trafficking, potential illicit drug use, obstruction of investigation, who has no experience serving in the Justice Department, only being investigated by it. But Jake,
what about some of y'all nominees though? Huh? Shifty shift. There's a lot of y'all also need to put y'all hands behind your back. A whole list of y'all need to be held accountable. I tell you, man, we got to drain that swamp, man. Drain the swamp.
I think the whole point with these nominees, several of them, is their unqualification, is their affirmative disqualification. That's Trump's point, because what he wants to do with these nominees is establish that
drain the swamp.
The Congress of the United States will not stand up to him with anything. If they will confirm Matt Gaetz, they will do anything he wants. I mean, look how the Speaker had to tie himself in knots. A couple days ago saying the Speaker effectively should stay out of this, there are important reasons for that, and then getting involved in this, reversing himself.
Now, this is coming from a person who was already censured in Congress, but we're supposed to listen to him for moral guidance, right? This is ludicrous. And there seems to be a problem with wokeness where they believe that someone can't do the job unless they have the highest level of morals and ethics, which is far from the truth of reality, right? These people have been elected not because we want them to be our role models, our preachers, people who will guide us through life and help us make great decisions. No, they have been elected to disrupt what's happening in Washington, to pretty much kill off the establishment, and to disrupt this pattern of corruption and how incompetent they have become. In other words, simply put, fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, he wasn't the only one melting down about who is qualified and who is not. Here is your favorite network, MSDNC.
But there are also people who are defiantly working against the health of this nation. When you think about folks like RFK Jr., who does not believe in vaccines for anything at all, a guy who has utilize his voice and his echo chamber to try to eradicate the country of things like prescription drugs that treat mental health conditions. A guy who has pushed some of the most radical conspiracy theories in health that I've seen. And I think that it's problematic that that's somebody that you would choose to lead HHS. On top of that, we know that what we saw with the SecDef position with Hedgebeth, this is a guy who Donald Trump loves because he's seen him on Fox and Friends on the weekends, and he has been a culture warrior for the past 3 years. This is a guy who has been anti-DEI. This is a guy who has no problem questioning the intellectual capacity of black people. Right. This is a guy who has gone down in the mud when it
didn't earn it, not qualified. Most of them be drunk in child inventory. Didn't earn it. That's DEI for you. We got to get that DEI right out of there. DEI right. And I tell you, it's a lot of it too. Oh, it's a lot of it. Unqualified, not qualified individuals.
When it comes to attacks on Latinos, there is no floor to how far he will go when it comes to his attacks on people of color in general. And for Trump to have talked about meritocracy, all of these individuals were supposed to be talented. They were supposed to be bright. That's what the right leads with. We don't want DEI. We want a meritocratic system. None of the individuals who they are looking to appoint have any merit.
All right. Well, what's interesting about this take is this very simply. I've been saying this since the beginning, I guess, is that she is describing herself. I mean, all these accusations she's throwing around, that's who she is. She is a culture warrior. She's the one all hooked up on DEI initiatives. I mean, that's who she is. And she clearly is unhinged when it comes to this stuff. I mean, she's making the point that these people have no merit to assume these positions. Well, if we're going to use the word merit and judge the picks based off on that, then why don't we listen to someone who brought this point up on Meet the Press, and it triggered Jen Psaki into a meltdown. Check this out.
He's also not qualified for the job in multiple of these cases, and that's the key thing here.
What about that, the ethical questions?
Well, look, the ethical questions are serious, but I would say we have seen nominations before from presidents of both parties where there have been ethical and substantive issues. Let's not forget, we had a nominee for HHS secretary in this administration who had never dealt with health care before being nominated. So I think the notion that
I'm not here to defend. He was the attorney general for the state of California. This is a little bit of a different.
He had experience suing healthcare companies, but not anything to do with health care.
The issue here that I'm raising, that I hope that is part of the process here, not just the ethical questions, and this is my point, is somebody who, yes, he was a military veteran, and that should be honored, but he is somebody who has never overseen an entity that is as large and as expansive as the Department of Defense.
Yeah, so she can't accept that, right? The Democrats are not going to accept that. Even Pete Buttigieg, who runs the Department of Transportation, he has zero transportation experience. He had zero before he was appointed. But they won't bring that up.
Yeah, check they nominee, check they people out, man. You know, that's what kills me.
Right? So they pick and choose, rules for us, but not for them. Do as I say, not as I do, right? That's who they are, the party of hypocrites and, being politically correct, which is why they're in trouble to begin with. Okay, so I told you that there was some weird accusations or conspiracy theories or just some unhinged take about UFC 309, where Mike Johnson and Trump and his entire cabinet kind of appeared together. Now, I didn't see J.D. Vance or Pete Hegseth, but most of the main players were there. Check out what CNN had to say about all this.
And it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum, and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least, but
a familiar character.
Yes, exactly. They've been with him at all these rallies. They've played a key role in where he's at now.
Now, what Speaker Johnson was saying was dead on. People do not want the status quo. They want the disruptors. So my question for you, do you believe this country right now needs disruptors? Do you really care about how morally rich or bankrupt they are? or you more focused on their ability to get the results that the American people have voted for? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Now,
Yep. Yes, indeed. You just can't make it up, man. I know what we spoken already, man, and why millions, I mean, in droves, you know, voted for all this to happen, man, to make America great again, bring common sense back, y'all. You know, but I wanted to say goodbye to CNN, MSNBC, and all these other places. You won't be missed, for real. The fake news, you know, and y'all are one of the reasons why it was what it was. And we the people sent a message to all y'all, man. You know? So how about that, Tapper? How about that? But what an amazing video from my brother Navari, man. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and sub up. And let me know what y'all think of all this. But I'll tell you, these next 4 years are it's gonna be a sight to see. I ain't gonna lie to you. These next 4 years, man. And we'll love to see how this thing plays out for the media, as they've lost all credibility. And new polls are showing, you know, 90% of people. I mean, and this is one reason why their ratings have whoosh. You know, their ratings have tanked. And right now, you're gonna see them. You know, we seen it these past 72 hours. They're gonna soften up. They're gonna get a little friendly. You know, they've toned down. They're gonna be they're gonna be different. You know, when Trump comes around, just watch. It's happening right now, as y'all can see. They're backtracking, and you know why. We are back, baby. We are back, and we're also gonna hold them accountable. I love y'all, and I will catch you beautiful people in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.